In 2024, while Americans debate politics freely on social media, one man risked execution to reveal something. The world has never seen internal footage of North Korea preparing an 11-year-old girl to become the next dictator. Park Hyunsik spent 30 years as a loyal citizen, filming state ceremonies in Pyongyang. Then his colleague was arrested for one drunken sentence. This is his story of escape and the evidence he carried across a frozen river. Join us in standing up for human rights. Subscribe to hear more stories of freedom. Before I begin my story, I need to say something. I was just an ordinary father. I woke up each morning, went to work, came home for dinner with my wife in the evening. On weekends, I'd take my kids for walks along the Taedong River. That was my life. Nothing special. My hometown is Hamhung, South Hamgyong Province. I still remember playing with friends in the Songcheon River as a kid. My mother made the best Hamhung naengmyeon cold noodles. In winter, she'd prepare kimchi and call out, "Hyunsik, come! Press this down for me." I can still hear her voice. My father worked at the Hamhung machine factory. In the early 1990s, when I was 15, he got transferred to Pyongyang. Back then, that was a huge honor. That's how our family ended up in Taedonggang District, Pyongyang. I graduated from Kim Il-sung University with a physics degree. In my late 20s, they assigned me to the Aviation Administration. Started in aircraft maintenance. Turned out I was good with video equipment. Eventually became a technical advisor for special events. Simple job, really. When the Supreme Leader attended ceremonies, I'd check camera angles and security routes. Just preparation work. I met my wife Sun-hee in 2015. She worked at Pyongyang Department Store number 1. Warm person, hardworking. We both married late, past 30, but we were happy. Our son Chulmin was born in 2016. 3 years later, our daughter Eunbyul arrived. Chulmin loved machines, just like his dad. Eunbyul enjoyed drawing and singing. Rations weren't always enough, but working at the Aviation Administration helped. We were better off than most families. Once or twice a month, we'd go to the Jangmadang, our version of a market, and buy pork, tofu. Sun-hee would make soybean paste stew. That was heaven. Winters were tough, finding cold briquettes, but neighbors shared with each other. We made it work. Back then, we thought that's just how life was. In 2022, my son Chulmin enlisted in the Air Force at 26. The morning he left, seeing him in uniform made my chest tighten. "Father, when I'm discharged, I want to work in aviation like you." The look in his eyes? I'll never forget it. That same year, Eunbyul started at Pyongyang Light Industry University, majoring in design. I was so proud. Up until then, I was just a regular dad. Each morning, I'd say, "I'm heading out," and Sun-hee would reply, "Be careful." When I came home, Eunbyul would greet me with, "Dad's home." That was everything to me. Then, one winter night in 2022, everything changed. It was a Friday night in November 2022. Around 8 p.m., I was watching TV at home. The phone rang. The party secretary from the Aviation Administration. "Comrade Park Hyunsik, come to headquarters immediately. Urgent mission." His voice sounded different. Something big had happened. Sun-hee looked worried. "Honey, what's wrong?" I didn't know either. Just said, "I'll be back soon," and rushed out. Pyongyang streets were pitch black. Power cuts were common then. Half the streetlights were out. Biking to headquarters, my heart kept pounding. Security at headquarters was 3 times tighter than usual. In the conference room, about 10 people had already gathered. All emergency calls like me. Video crew, lighting team, security route inspectors. Everyone was essential personnel, only deployed for special events. We waited maybe an hour. A state security colonel walked in. He looked us over and spoke quietly. "Comrades, starting today, you're assigned to a top-secret state mission. From the moment you leave this room, you cannot speak about this to anyone, not even family. Violations will be treated as anti-party, anti-revolutionary acts." Then he pulled out a document. It read, "Preparation for Comrade Kim Ju-ae's public event protocol." My whole body went cold. Kim Ju-ae, the Supreme Leader's daughter. That name, previously just rumors, now appeared in an official document for the first time. Day after tomorrow, Tuesday, Comrade Kim Ju-ae will observe a Hwasong missile test launch with the Supreme Commander. Camera angles, lighting, security routes. Everything must be perfect. Comrade Kim Ju-ae is an important figure for our republic's future. The colonel paused slightly on that last part, but we all understood what he meant. I got home around 2 a.m. Sun-hee had waited up. "Honey, what happened?" I looked at my wife. 30 years together, but I couldn't tell her this. Just event preparation. Don't worry. Sun-hee must have read something in my face, but she didn't ask more. In the north, Not asking is how you protect each other. Tuesday morning, I was at the Hwasong launch site before dawn. Positioned 12 cameras, checked angles, verified lighting. Around 10 a.m., a black sedan arrived. The Supreme Commander stepped out. Behind him, a young girl followed, maybe 10 years old, wearing a white puffer jacket. I'll never forget that moment. Officers around us saluted in unison. The child awkwardly raised her hand in response. The cameras captured everything. Watching the monitor, I thought, this is the beginning. Succession work has started. That evening, I turned on the TV at home. Korean Central Television reported on the Hwasong launch. Kim Jong-un appeared publicly for the first time. The beloved daughter of dear respected comrade Kim Jong-un, Comrade Kim Jong-un. The announcer's voice trembled. Sunhee sat beside me, quietly watching the screen. Honey, is it starting again? I couldn't answer. But one thing was certain. We were entering a dangerous new era. As 2023 began, my daily routine completely changed. Kim Jong-un protocol preparations became more frequent. Special events that used to happen once or twice a month now occurred weekly. Strategic weapons test sites, Air Force bases, naval facilities. Kim Jong-un started accompanying the Supreme Commander to almost every military event. It was sometime in March. An air show was held at Sunan Airfield. Kim Jong-un sat center stage in the VIP viewing section. Normally, that seat was reserved for Politburo members, but now a 10-year-old child sat there. Generals around her saluted, explained things, even laughed when she laughed. Behind the cameras, watching those scenes, chills ran down my spine. What shocked me more was the change in protocol guidelines. Must have been around May. Our video team, security team, and protocol team were all summoned to the Aviation Administration's main conference hall. A state security lieutenant colonel stepped forward. Comrades, from now on, filming guidelines for Comrade Kim Jong-un are changing. In every scene, Comrade Kim Jong-un must be captured with the dignity of a successor. The moment we heard those words, the air in the room shifted. Everyone's breathing became cautious. The lieutenant colonel continued. Comrade Kim Jong-un's expression must always appear confident and dignified. Camera angles should convey authority. Lighting not too bright, not too dim. And, he paused, then spoke in an even lower voice. Any images of Comrade Kim Jong-un looking disheveled or anxious must never be filmed. If accidentally captured, delete immediately and report. After the meeting, our video team colleagues gathered in the hallway. No one spoke, but everything showed on their faces. The tension from the early 2010s, when Comrade Kim Jong-un emerged as successor, was back. Our senior colleague Cham Young-ho spoke quietly. Comrade Hyunsik, we're becoming witnesses to history again. Fear laced his voice. July brought an even bigger change. Kim Jong-un appeared at a strategic weapons parade, receiving salutes from military officers. In the footage we captured, Kim Jong-un wore a black suit, standing beside her father, waving to passing soldiers. The shocking part? Those soldiers saluted Kim Jong-un, an 11-year-old child. Officers in their 30s and 40s, saluting her. That night, I couldn't eat dinner. Sunhee asked worriedly, "Honey, are you sick?" I shook my head. I wasn't sick. Just scared. Scared that this country was once again becoming a stage for one person. No, this time, one child. Around September, something stranger happened. Running into an old colleague in the Aviation Administration hallway, he grabbed my arm and whispered, "Hyunsik, you're handling Kim Jong-un protocol, right? Be careful. I heard the party's conducting loyalty verification regarding Comrade Kim Jong-un. They're watching every word, every expression." My spine went cold. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. Thought about my son Chalmin in the military. Would he have to salute that young girl too? Thought about my daughter Eunbyul in college. What would her future hold? Sunhee squeezed my hand beside me. "Honey, will we be okay?" I couldn't answer, just held her hand tight. That's how 2023 faded. Kim Jong-un appeared more frequently. Protocol became stricter, and I was sinking deeper into darkness. October 2023 brought a turning point in my life. An aircraft weapons exhibition was held at an Air Force base in South Pyongyang province. Kim Jong-un attended with the Supreme Commander. That day, I oversaw video filming as usual. The event went smoothly. Kim Jong-un nodded while officers explained things, posed for photos with fighter jets in the background. But then, one moment, an engine suddenly roared loudly. Kim Jong-un flinched. Her face stiffened. Camera 4 caught that expression. Just 2 seconds, but clearly a tense, startled look. Watching that scene, I didn't think much of it. An 11-year-old, startled by a fighter jet engine, that's natural, right? Editing the footage afterward, I just moved past it. Final editing was done by the party propaganda department anyway. They'd remove unnecessary scenes. But the next morning, as soon as I arrived at work, 2 state security lieutenants entered my office. Comrade Hyunsik, come with us for a moment. My heart sank. When state security comes directly, it's never small. They led me to a basement interrogation room. A state security major sat there. He looked at me, opened his laptop, and played a video. Yesterday's footage. Kim Jong-un's startled expression. Comrade Park Hyun-sik, why didn't you delete this scene? I panicked. Comrade, I only handle raw filming. Editing is done by the propaganda department. This shouldn't exist in the raw files. Why is Comrade Kim Jong-un's anxious appearance still in the file? The major kept pressing. How many copies of this file exist? Who has access? Comrade, did you show this video to anyone else? My hands trembled. No, I only filmed. There are no copies. We'll verify that. They confiscated my computer. I stayed locked in that room until afternoon. The next day at work, my desk was a mess. Someone had been there. Personal items in my drawer were scattered. That's when I realized I'm under surveillance now. An even more shocking event happened a week later. My colleague Chae Myung-ho didn't come to work, wouldn't answer his phone. 3 days passed with no sign of him. Everyone whispered. On the 4th day, the party secretary called a full meeting. Comrades, Chae Myung-ho has been arrested as an anti-party, anti-revolutionary element. He made remarks mocking the supreme leadership and spread false rumors. Be careful, everyone. Loyalty is proven through actions, not words. My whole body froze. Chae Myung-ho sat right next to me at work. Walking home that night, I suddenly remembered. About 2 months ago, having drinks with Myung-ho after work. Drunk, he spoke carefully. Comrade Hyunsik, about this succession work for Comrade Kim Jong-un. Rumors say the Supreme Commander's health isn't as good as we think. Maybe that's why they're rushing. I'd warned him then. Shh, don't say such things. That was Myung-ho's last moment. That one sentence became anti-revolutionary. When I got home that night, Sunny and Eunbyul had dinner waiting. Eunbyul smiled brightly. Dad, we had a special lecture about Comrade Kim Jong-un at school today. They said she's our future. I looked at my daughter, my 23-year-old daughter, being indoctrinated. I couldn't sleep that night. Days later, I accidentally saw a classified document on a high-ranking official's desk. The title read, Phase 1 Plan for Post-2027 Succession System Stabilization. Just reading the table of contents gave me chills. Regional Military Corps Loyalty Reorganization. Systematization of Kim Jong-un's central events. Military Officer Re-education. Protocol Security Organization Restructuring. Everything was planned. This country's future was already a written script. After Myung-ho disappeared, I had nightmares every night. State security pounding on our door. Sunhee and Eunbyul crying, being dragged away. I'd wake up drenched in sweat. Sunhee noticed something was wrong, but didn't ask. In the north, knowing less is safer. One day in November, I made a decision. I couldn't go on like this. I was certain I'd be the next purge target. Close to Myung-ho, already noticed by state security over the Kim Jong-un footage, and I'd seen that classified document. Time was running out. I knew someone who worked for a trading company. He did business with China. Sometimes he'd share stories about across the Yalu River. I approached him carefully. Brother, is there a way to get to China? He stared into my eyes, then slowly nodded. Comrade Hyunsik, are you prepared? Yes, I'm prepared. The method he described? About 20 kilometers upstream from Sinweju, along the Yalu River, there's a spot with weak security. In winter, the water gets shallow enough to cross, but patrols pass every few hours. Timing had to be perfect. If you fail, it's execution. Still want to do it? I nodded. The hardest part was telling my family. One Saturday night, when Eunbyul came home from her dorm, I sat Sunhee and Eunbyul down and spoke quietly. Sunhee, Eunbyul, I have to leave soon. Sunhee understood immediately. Her face went pale. Honey, I can't live here anymore. If I stay, we're all in danger. I told them everything. Myung-ho's arrest, state security investigation, internal documents on Kim Jong-un's succession work. Sunhee cried. Eunbyul looked disbelieving. Dad, what about us? What happens to us? The question I least wanted to hear. Eunbyul, come with me, right now. But Eunbyul shook her head. Dad, I can't. Shulman's in the military. If I disappear, it'll hurt him. My daughter was right. In the north, when one person escapes, remaining family faces collective punishment. Shulman in military service would be most at risk. Sunhee grabbed my hand. Honey, you go first. We'll be okay. You have to survive. I held my wife. 30 years together. Never thought we'd part like this. Sunhee, I'm sorry. So sorry. Once I reach South Korea, I'll find a way to bring you out. That night, I had my last conversation with Eunbyul. Eunbyul, am I too irresponsible as a father? She shook her head. No, Dad. You need to survive, so we have hope. Dad, please make it to freedom. And someday, we'll. Before my daughter could finish, tears streamed down my face. The day before leaving, I hid a small SD card in my pocket. It contained Kim Jong-un protocol video copies, scanned succession system documents, internal meeting recordings, the only evidence I could take from the North. I have to reveal this to the world. That's honoring Myung-ho. That's for my family left behind. The night before departure, I walked quietly along the Taedong River, the path where I'd held Chulmin's hand as a child. Chulmin, your father is sorry for not waiting until your discharge, but I'll wait for you in freedom. Someday when we meet again, we'll walk the Taedong River without looking over our shoulders. Early December 2023, on a bitter cold dawn, I left Pyongyang. I took a train towards Sinŭiju. Pyongyang to Sinŭiju usually takes about 5 hours, but that day, the power cut out. The train stopped several times. In the pitch-black car, I stared out the window. Every village we passed, no lights. This was North Korea's reality in 2023. I arrived in Sinŭiju around 8 p.m., checked into a guest house near the station, went to the address my trading company contact had given me, a shabby, single-story house. When I knocked, a man in his 50s appeared. Comrade Park Hyunsik? I nodded. He pulled me inside and spoke quietly. We leave at 11 tonight. Bring only essentials. I waited 2 hours in a room at his house. My bag held a few clothes, a little money, and the SD card in my pocket. Also one photo of Sunhee and Eunbyul, a family picture from 7 years ago by the Taedong River. Chulmin was 20 then. In the photo, we're all smiling. Back then, we didn't know we'd be separated like this. At 11, the man led me out. We rode a beat-up bicycle down dark roads for 30 minutes. When we reached the riverbank, my whole body shook, not just from cold, from fear. The Yalu River. Cross it, and I'd reach China. Fail, and I'd die. From here, you're on your own. Walk to that willow tree you see. There's a path down to the river. Patrols usually pass around midnight. Leave now. You'll reach the river by 11:40. You have 20 minutes to cross. On the Chinese bank, head north about 100 meters. There's a Korean-Chinese house. Knock 3 times. He gripped my hand tight. Good luck. I walked through darkness. Snow crunched underfoot. Wind slapped my face. I reached the willow at 11:35. A car engine sounded in the distance. Patrol vehicle. I hid behind the tree, holding my breath. The headlight swept past. My heart felt like it would explode. 5 minutes later, I went down to the river. Some parts were frozen, but not completely. The moment my foot touched the water, it was so cold I almost screamed. But I couldn't make noise. I gritted my teeth and entered the water. It rose to my knees, my waist. Halfway across, my foot slipped. Almost fell, but barely kept my balance. Checked the SD card in my pocket. Thankfully, wrapped tight in plastic, still safe. I have to protect this. It's worth Myung-ho's life. It's evidence for Chulmin and Eunbyul. When I passed the 2/3 point, a voice came from behind. Who's there? Patrol. I'd taken longer than expected. A flashlight beam hit me. Stop! Don't move or I'll shoot! I thrashed through the water like crazy. Gunshots rang out behind me. Bang! Bang! Bullets skimmed the water beside me. Sunhee, Chulmin, Eunbyul. I have to survive. Survive and tell your story to the world. That thought alone pushed me forward. The Chinese bank came into view. More gunshots. But this time they missed. Darkness hid me. My hand finally touched the bank. Used all my strength to pull myself up. Covered in mud didn't matter. I'd survived. Shouts still came from behind. But this was Chinese soil. I ran north. My whole body was frozen, but I couldn't stop. After about 100 meters, I saw a small house. I knocked 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. The door opened. A Korean-Chinese grandfather looked at me, said nothing, and pulled me inside. As the door closed, I collapsed to the floor. Relief at surviving hit me. Guilt at leaving my family behind overwhelmed me. Right there, I cried without sound. I hid at the Korean-Chinese Mr. Kim's house for 3 days. He was a quiet man, but kind, made me hot porridge, gave me dry clothes, patted my shoulder, saying, "You'll be okay." He was originally from Hamgyong province too. I used to live in the north, came over during the Korean War, already helped dozens of people like you. On the 3rd night, someone came, a South Korean man in his 50s. I'm a pastor working in Shenyang, China, helping North Korean defectors. Mr. Kim contacted me. The pastor looked at me and asked quietly, "Are you going to South Korea?" I nodded. Yes. I have something the world needs to know. The pastor explained the plan. In a week, when Chinese police crackdowns loosened, we'd move to Shenyang, make fake IDs there, hide for about a month, then head south. Final destination, Bangkok, Thailand. From there, enter the South Korean embassy. It's dangerous. If caught midway, you'll be sent back. Still willing? I didn't hesitate. Yes. The journey to Shenyang was a nightmare. Switched buses 3 times, once hid in a truck's cargo bed. Every checkpoint, my heart stopped. In Shenyang, I stayed in a small upstairs room at a Korean-Chinese restaurant. 1 month without leaving once. Couldn't even open the windows. If someone heard Korean, they might report it. That month was the hardest. Trapped alone in a cramped room, staring at the ceiling. Thoughts of Sunhee, Eunbyul, Cheolmin never left my mind. Has state security raided our house by now? Is Sunhee being interrogated? Was Eunbyul expelled from university? Is Cheolmin in the military okay? Every night, nightmares. My family dragged to camps. Cheolmin executed. I'd wake up drenched in sweat. January 2024, I finally headed south. Guangzhou, Kunming, then into Laos. In Laos, crossed the border into Thailand through a broker. Walked through jungle for 2 days and nights. At 56, crossing mountains was brutal. My legs trembled. I gasped for breath, but I couldn't stop. Behind me was North Korea. Ahead was freedom. I reached Bangkok, Thailand in early February. Rested 2 days at a church the pastor connected me with. On the 3rd morning, I finally headed to the South Korean embassy. In the taxi, tears came. Almost there. Just a little more. Standing before the embassy gate, my legs shook. I spoke to the guard in Korean. I'm a North Korean defector. I want to go to South Korea. The guard looked surprised, called someone on his radio. 10 minutes passed. A South Korean consular official came out. Come in. You're safe. The moment I stepped through the embassy doors, I collapsed. 3 months of running were over. The consular staff helped me up. You've been through so much. You're safe now. You'll be able to go to South Korea soon. Hearing those words, tears poured out. 2 weeks later, I boarded a plane. First time on a commercial aircraft. As we took off, I looked out the window. Above the clouds, the sky stretched blue and endless. I thought, Sunny, Cheolmin, Eunbyul, I'm flying under a free sky now. Someday you'll fly this sky too. 4 hours later, the captain's announcement came. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be landing at Incheon International Airport shortly. I looked out the window. Seoul's lights sparkled like stars. In the north, nights were pitch black. Here, the entire city glowed. In that moment, I understood. This is freedom. When I landed at Incheon Airport, it was the evening of February 15th, 2024. National Intelligence Service staff greeted me. You've been through a lot. You'll become a citizen of the Republic of Korea now. Hearing those words made it real. I was no longer North Korean. I'd become a citizen of free South Korea. I spent 3 months at the North Korean Defector Settlement Support Center in Hwasong, commonly called Hanawon. Received training on adapting to South Korean society. At first, everything felt strange. 24-hour convenience stores. Ordering anything online. Lights on, late into the night. My first trip to a supermarket shocked me. Products overflowed. In the north, even at Cheongmadang, you often couldn't buy things because they weren't available. Here, everything existed. But the biggest culture shock was different. People spoke freely. TV news criticized the government. I was stunned. They can broadcast this? I asked. Everyone laughed. This is freedom of speech. It's allowed here. That moment, I understood. This is real freedom. After leaving Hanawon, I rented a small studio in Seoul. The government provided settlement funds and job training, but I didn't want a regular job. I had something else to do. The SD card I'd carried in my pocket. The truth about Kim Jong-un's succession work. I had to reveal it to the world. I visited a North Korean human rights organization, told my story, showed the SD card. The activists were amazed. This is incredibly valuable material. This is the first time internal video of Kim Jong-un's succession work has surfaced. They suggested testimony activities, media interviews, lectures, writing a book. I hesitated. Because of my family left behind in the north. My wife and daughter are in the north. If I speak out, they'll be in danger. The activist nodded. I understand. But Mr. Park, your testimony could save many more North Korean people. And when unification comes someday, what you've done will be something your family can be proud of. After much thought, I decided to speak out. Starting in May, I became active. In media interviews, I revealed the truth about Kim Jong-un's succession work. Kim Jong-un is an 11-year-old child, but the North Korean regime is mobilizing the entire state to make her a successor. This is child abuse and oppression of all North Korean people. I watched my interview videos online. Comments appeared. Can't believe North Korea is still doing hereditary succession. That child is a victim too. Unification needs to come soon. I was grateful people cared, but one part of my heart stayed heavy. thinking of family in the north. I especially worried about my son Chulman. By now, his military service should be ending. What's he going through because of his father? Was he dragged to a camp? Some nights I couldn't sleep thinking about it. One night, I had a dream. Chulman stood in his military uniform, smiling at me. Father, I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Don't worry. When I woke, my pillow was soaked with tears. These days, I work teaching young North Korean defectors. Volunteer work helping kids from the North adapt to South Korean society. Seeing those kids reminds me of my Eunbyeol. She'd be 26 now. Did she graduate from university? Is she married? Does she remember her father's face? Everyone, I've gained freedom, but not complete freedom. My family's still in the North. Real freedom will come the day of unification. When that day comes, I'll take a train to Pyongyang, go to our home by the Taedong River and hold Sunhee. Hold Eunbyeol's hand and travel to my hometown, Hamhung. Splash in the Songchan River with Chonmin like when we were young. Many of you must know the pain of division like me. Families separated during the Korean War. Divided families. I hope our generation sees unification. A world where children like Kim Jong-un are no longer tools of power. A world where North Korean people breathe freely. A world where South and North become one. I hope my testimony becomes a small seed. Until the day unification's flower blooms, I'll wait here. Chulman, Eunbyeol, Sunhee, Dad is waiting for you here.